Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. InShaAllah, in this video series, I'm going to be talking to y'all about my journey and how I learned the Arabic language. It was not an easy journey, and that is in part because of the fact that I didn't have a teacher guiding me along the way. However, hopefully, if you're in a position that you can't find a teacher to guide you in your way of learning Arabic, you can benefit from this series and use my videos as a way to sort of gauge your progress and also as sort of as a roadmap to figure out your ways to go. That's who I want to create this video series for. People that don't necessarily have a teacher to guide them and on the steps to take and things of that nature. And the reason why I think this video will be beneficial for you is because one, a lot of times people that speak about learning the Arabic language either do have a teacher, and obviously that is the best case, right? Ilm is supposed to be taken from the mouths of the scholars, not from the bellies of books. However, not everybody has access to the best teacher, right? But alhamdulillah, the way that I went about studying the Arabic language has gotten me to a level of a proficiency where I'm currently studying with a teacher. He's an African sheikh, alhamdulillah, but he doesn't speak English very well. So he teaches me in Arabic, right? So I'm able to understand his Arabic and he's able to understand my questions that I ask him in Arabic. And that even aids in my process of learning Arabic. So yes, to return back to the point that I was mentioning, this video is for whoever doesn't have or can't find a person to guide them in learning Arabic, right? And generally speaking, it's for people that are trying to learn this ilm al-ala, this tool type of knowledge. And what I mean by that is that ilm is usually split into two types. There's the type of ilm that we search for its inherent benefit, right? For example, learning the Quran, learning tafsir, learning ahadith, right? So, or studying ahadith in general, versus studying ulum al-ala, which is like studying mustalah, studying usul al-fiqh, studying Arabic. Arabic is a perfect example of an ilm al-ala. It is a tool that you use to gain other types of knowledge that you're actually looking for in and of themselves. The first thing that I want to start with for anybody that wants to start the process of seeking knowledge is to purify your intention. As with any act of ibadah that you do as a Muslim, the most important thing, or the first thing that you should start with, is making sure that your intentions are in the right spot. In your mind, you're sitting down and saying, I want to start learning this Arabic language so that I can benefit myself and I can raise ignorance off of myself and know this deen for myself. And I can also assist in raising the ignorance off of people around me, those that want the ignorance to be raised off of themselves. Then in that case, alhamdulillah, that is a pure niyyah to have attempted to raise ignorance off yourself in the deen of Allah and raise ignorance off of those around you, those that you can assist. All right. So, like the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith, and it's the first hadith in Arba'in al-Nawawi. It's the first hadith in Umdatul Ahkam, if I'm not mistaken. Right. إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى فمن كانت هجرته إلى الله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله ومن كانت هجرته لدنيا يصيبها أو امرأة ينكحها فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه متفق عليه. Right, that indeed actions are only based or judged by their intention. And indeed, for every person is what they intend. So whoever does, and this is an example of the act of worship, right? This is a statement of the Prophet ﷺ stated during the time of Hijrah. Whoever does Hijrah for the sake of Allah and His Messenger, then he has done Hijrah for the sake of Allah and His Messenger. But whoever does Hijrah to receive a portion of the dunya or to marry a woman, to find a woman to marry, then his hijrah is for that which what he did hijrah for. So whatever act of goodness that you do, the first thing that you have to do is work on purifying your attention and always purifying your attention. Purifying your attention is extremely important. That's the first thing. Now, my personal journey starts in 2018, around then. In 2018, one day at going to Fajr, I was approached by a brother that I know at the mosque, Brother Ali, and he told me that there's another brother in the mosque that was giving durus surrounding a book. I think this book or this aspect of learning the Arabic language is what I think anybody that attempts to learn the Arabic language should do. And it's a combination of a few things. So The book that I was being taught is this right here, Al-Qaida Nuraniya. There's PDFs available. I'm going to see if I can link a PDF in the description. And there's also this book, which is a bit thicker, a bit longer. However, it does cover the same subject. This is the green book that, of course, I mean, if you were raised Muslim, you know about the green book. I mean, when you went to madrasa. But yeah, so the first thing that you should start with, before you even get into attempting to understand the language, is perfecting your pronunciation of the Arabic letters. Something that you notice a lot when a person is learning a language or learning their second language or whatever number language, as long as it's not their first language, people have a tendency to speak that language that they're learning with the accent or with the tongue of their original language or the language that they know the best, right? For example, if a person speaks English with a French tongue, that's what produces the French accent. So in that same way, when you're learning Arabic for the first time, it's important that you dedicate time learning how to pronounce the letters correctly. Now, obviously, alongside that, recognize the letters, learn how they connect to each other, and also practice that process of writing letters, even if it's just mumbo jumbo words, right? Words that don't actually exist in the language. But sitting down and actually putting letters together and seeing how they connect. There's another series too, I think it's called Al-Qaida Al-Madaniya, right? It's studied in Medina. It's part of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Al-Qasim's series for Mutun Talib Ilm, I believe. But I know it's studied in the Prophet's Masjid, alayhi salatu wasalam. But that series as well is similar to these books, and it teaches you how to read the letters, work from step by step from like, alif ba ta to alif fatha a ba fatha ba, and then combining them and so on and so forth. And that's the reason why I personally prefer Al Qaeda Nuraniya, just because it depends on how the teacher teaches you. But the way you're supposed to go about it is, for example, if we look right here, y'all can see right here. Let's start with this example right here, right? The first example. Instead of just saying ah, ba, done, the teacher is supposed to teach it to you like this. Hamza fatha a, ba fatha ba, and then combine the two, aba, and dal fathatain dan, abadan. And what that does is that allows you to learn how to connect, to recognize each letter, right? And teach you sort of how you're supposed to read the letters. When you're reading through a sentence in Arabic that's harakat, you're supposed to look at the base letter, whether it be alif, hamza, ba, ta, dal, kha, right? And then also look at the harakat that are above or below it, or if it has a shadda, and capture that, and then move on to the next letter. Obviously, as you continue through the book, by the time you get to the end of the book, you're supposed to get faster with it, and that allows you to even open up Juz Amma, the surahs that you don't know, and be able to read those surahs. And that's even why this copy of Qaida Nuraniya comes with Juz Amma included, because by the time you get to the end of the book, you should, inshallah, be able to read Arabic that has tashkil, right? That's vowed Arabic, as opposed to Arabic that has no harakat or tashkil. Now, at some point, you're actually going to get to a point where tashkil can get quite distracting, right? I've noticed that recently when I'm trying to skim through a text, if it has tashkil, it's harder to like really get the portion that I'm trying to get to. But the point that I'm trying to make is that's very important. Making sure that you are pronouncing your baz as baz, and that's very easy, but making sure that you're pronouncing your taz as taz and your thaws as thaws. And making sure that you're pronouncing your dals as dals and your bods as bods, right? Making sure that you're pronouncing your ava, your dal, and your tha, and making sure that they're all different. Making sure that your tha is not the same as your sin. Instead of saying sa, like how our African parents love to do. That's the first step. And as they mentioned, it's easier to build a correct foundation than have to work on fixing a bad foundation, right? So if you started off correctly, inshallah, you'll be able to just continuously build on top of that. But if you decide to rush past the point that you're supposed to be at, then you're going to struggle. Let me know if you want me to go through teaching a book like this on the channel. I'll be willing to go through that process. Leave a comment down below if you think I should do that. So that's the first step. The first step is learning how to pronounce the letters and perfecting as much as possible. Attempting to perfect your pronunciation of the letters. recognizing the letters, learning how to combine the letters correctly, and that's going to be your step one. Inshallah, the next video I'll be talking about the next step, and stay tuned, inshallah. As-salaamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.